Hey there, welcome to Takeaway with Sam Oches, a podcast from Nation's Restaurant News. I am Sam Oches, editor-in-chief here at NRN, and this is the show where I give you an all-access pass to the restaurant industry's most influential decision-makers. This week I'm sharing two interviews that I recently conducted in person at the Restaurant Leadership Conference in Phoenix. First up is Elisia Flores, the CEO of L&L Hawaiian BBQ, who joined me to talk about why she decided to step into a leadership position with the brand that her father co-founded and how she plans to capitalize on Americans' growing interest in global flavor profiles. After that, I chat with Beto Guajardo, the CEO of Blaze Pizza, who sat down to talk about his first year on the job and the opportunities that he sees for brand evolution in the fast casual pizza category. Each of these interviews gets to the heart of what it takes to be the leader of a restaurant brand at a time when the challenges are many and the change is frequent. And these two leaders really demonstrate how passion for your brand can be the core ingredient that helps you to conquer the hard times. In these conversations, you will learn more about why leaders of franchise businesses live to fulfill others' American dreams, why you need to find a balance between the bells and whistles and the things that customers love you for in the first place, and why there is opportunity in leaning into your headwinds. Jumping now into my interviews, first with L&L Hawaiian BBQ CEO Elisia Flores, then with Blaze Pizza CEO Beto Guajardo. Also, don't forget to stick around after these interviews as I will share my 5 takeaways from these discussions, actionable insights that you can take with you on the go. Elisia Flores, the CEO of L&L Hawaiian BBQ. Elisia, thanks for joining me.
Aloha, thank you for having me.
So this is, I love the story of L&L, and we're going to get into it, but I think it is surprising when a lot of folks hear that this is more than 200 locations that you guys have.
We just opened our 230th location.
That's amazing.
Virginia.
I think it blows people's minds because they're like, what? But you're out of Hawaii. Tell us the story. What's the story of L&L?
I love telling the story.
Yeah.
So L&L was founded by my father, Eddie Flores, and his business partner, Johnson Cam. And it truly is the American dream. They're both immigrants to the United States, and my dad actually bought the restaurant for his mother, my grandmother, again, as an opportunity for their family to really try to thrive in a new country. No expectation of doing more than just one store, but lo and behold, over 40 years later, we have 230 locations. We're a fast casual concept, founded again in Hawaii, still headquartered there. We specialize in the plate lunch, which is a very common dish in Hawaii, which is rice as your starch, macaroni salad, and a protein. We call it Hawaiian BBQ, teriyaki-based barbecue meats.
Yeah.
So it's awesome, it's delicious, and I love that people are really enjoying our food that we get to expand.
Yeah. So we talked about in a session earlier here at Restaurant Leadership Conference about how Hawaiian plate lunch is a growing category and there's a lot of opportunity there. What do you see as being the opportunity for this category?
I think this category has tremendous growth. I love that we are the original, and for a long time there was not a lot of other competition. There's a lot of new people that moved into the space because I think consumers are really open to new and different styles of food. They also mentioned that in the same session.
Yeah.
Rice as your main starch for a lunch or dinner is very common in Hawaii.
Right.
It's not common probably anywhere else in the country, but it's delicious. And I think the consumers tell us the food that's good, people will want and continue to want, and I love that Hawaiian BBQ is a flavor people are enjoying now.
Yeah. All right, so I'm from the East Coast, and so the Hawaiian plate lunch is pretty new to me, and I imagine a lot of Americans it's pretty new. Tell me about how you can introduce Americans to this as you grow.
Yes, I remember a story from many years ago when we first opened in Chicago, when we had a store in Chicago, and we have, rice served, and people couldn't tell from the image that it was rice, they thought it was ice cream.
Oh.
So it is, education to the customer. I like to describe it as the comfort food of Hawaii, because everyone understands comfort food.
Yeah.
It's, it reminds you of home, it reminds you of your family, it fills your belly, you get this warm feeling once you eat the food. Plate lunch is just like that. It's just different styles of flavors. We have fried chicken, just like fried chicken you'd see anywhere else, but ours is panko crusted. We have barbecue chicken, just like you have in other places, but again, it's teriyaki-based marinade. So it's a different type of food, but familiar concepts.
Right. I appreciate that you say that about the comfort food, because I'm from Ohio, so Midwest, it's like meat and potatoes, meat and rice.
Yes.
Like, there are real connective tissue here. And, I don't think you have to try very hard with a Midwesterner to tell them, oh, meat and rice with some really yummy flavor.
My wife is from Ohio, and she had never experienced plate lunch before, but once she did, she was turned.
Okay,
Yes.
so perfect. Well, you got to come to Ohio now, right?
I guess
I mean,
so.
come on, your wife can spearhead the effort, right? Okay, so I love this story, though, too, because your father starts this company. Did you always think you would be involved with the brand?
So I grew up in the restaurant, right? And I think I didn't always expect to be in the business. I didn't want to work for my dad my whole life. I love the guy, but that just sounded terrible. So I left the company for a while after college, and for a long time, just quite frankly, I didn't think I would want to come back in. I had some really fun and sexy jobs, and just honestly, the restaurant industry is such a hard space, right?
Totally.
The thought of coming into this very difficult business, working for my family, moving back home to Hawaii was not appealing. After many years in a corporate job, it became more appealing. And what really pushed me over the edge, again, everything I have in my life and my family is because of the restaurant industry.
Yeah.
It was our American dream come true. And I realized my job at L&L is not selling more franchises, it's not selling more plates, although that's what we do. My job is helping other people achieve their American dream, and I can do that all day, every day.
Yeah. So you had a finance background, as I understand it. You became CFO of the brand before becoming CEO. Tell me about maybe some of your ideas you brought to L&L and some of the ways you're kind of putting your own fingerprints on it.
Yes, so when I came in, it was, we were large, we're large right now, but we act more like a mom and pop kind of emerging brand. Again, we were founded by two people who had no idea it would grow this big. So as you can imagine, things are slapped together, there's duct tape, and I came in with a very corporate background. And to me, everything was, a hot mess.
Yeah.
And so, for me, it's been putting in systems, putting in process, putting a strategy together. We obviously have a proven concept. Now, how can we strategically think about growing and doubling our footprint more?
Right, sure. Okay, so what do you think that looks like? Like, where did you start, I guess?
Yeah, so I started, I don't know if it was because I was the daughter or because I just had a very different viewpoint, but I came in and I was like, this doesn't make sense, this doesn't make sense, this doesn't make sense. And I realized after maybe 6 months that I needed to just shut up and I needed to learn. I needed to witness and view. It didn't make sense, but it worked. And so why is it working? And what are the things that actually do make sense? I just couldn't see it right then. And what are the things that truly don't make sense for our future? So it was honestly, so I was 5 years in my CFO role before becoming CEO. And those were really great years for me to really learn our company, our guts, and again, what is our core value that we want to bring forward, and what is something that might be holding us back. And also, we're a franchise company. All of our units are franchise. Truly understanding our franchise base and thinking about the future. If I'm making changes, I want to bring as many franchisees along with me. I don't want to turn the ship so fast that people fall off the boat. And so really understanding my franchisee base and seeing what's best for them, for all of us as a whole.
So for a company that's over 40 years old now, right? I imagine a lot of franchisees have been around for a while.
Longer than I've been in the company.
Yeah, so tell me about not only how you can make sure you're continuing to meet their needs, but bringing new franchisees into the fold too. What does that look like?
So I love our brand, our franchisees. I feel like one extra thing unique about them is most of them have some special connection to Hawaii as well. Either they were born and raised there, or they had a great, family time there. Whatever their memory is of Hawaii, it makes them want to open an L&L because they want to share that aloha spirit, that feeling of Hawaii into the community that they are in. And so our existing franchisee, it's really about relationships. It's always been the foundation of our company is relationships. We're a family-based company with my dad and his business partner's kids are in the business as well. And it was their friendship and we want that feeling with our franchisees. We call them ohana. They're part of the family and we treat them that way. And we think about new franchisees, that's the bars for us as well. We want people who come in and feel that family. The thing that I'm thinking through now is that, as we expand, as we think about multi-unit franchisees, as we think about expanding into new markets, I know these franchisees are out there, but also how do we think about broadening the type of franchisee who we might want to work with, who have a lot of experience with fast growth, something that we're just starting right now. But key for us is always fit. This company is so important to me. It's so important to the franchisees that are in. I want to make sure the people we bring in just add to the company culture.
Sure. All right. So similarly, of course, rich legacy in this brand. And also a simplicity to it too, right? In the menu, that's not got a lot of bells and whistles.
No.
But when you think about the restaurant industry today, of course there are a lot of bells and whistles, and I'm sure it's easy to look at some of these, high-tech platforms and things. How do you, I guess, push forward and innovate with L&L while recognizing the legacy that your father started?
Yeah, I think, it's funny, in the session with Peter from Jersey Mike's, his comment about so many brands just always coming back to the core. I think there's a balance you need in the industry. You need the innovation, you need new things, but the customers love you. The reason you're able to grow, are the things that the customers are always going to want, the things that you started with. So I think for us, the food, we're not changing. Maybe we'll bring on some new menu items. The change is coming from the innovation, the technology innovation. And I wouldn't say we're a very tech-forward company. We're big, but we're not big enough that we can make huge investments in tech. But we want to make sure we can serve customers however they want to order, whether it's coming in through third-party delivery, through our app, through loyalty. We're trying to get smarter about our digital, our data collect, just like with everyone, with data collection, understanding the data and being able to actually act on it, whether it's through marketing or franchise sales. So, the menu isn't changing because we know that's what the customers want. We know that's what got us from one store to 230. Right. But how we can continue making sure we give a great customer experience, that's what we'll always innovate for.
Okay. All right, so tell me about what your sort of vision for the next couple of years looks like, because you have grown a lot since you took over this brand.
Yes.
Do you really want to accelerate that?
I do. So, again, our Hawaiian BBQ space category is growing. We were the first chain brand to sell the Hawaii plate lunch. We're the biggest right now, and I want to maintain, obviously we'll always be the original, but I want to maintain that we're the biggest. And beyond that, I think this is a great time for consumers wanting our style of food. It's our responsibility, I think, to grow and to make sure we can serve it to everyone who wants.
Sure.
2 years ago, I made a goal for our company to grow to 500 stores, which I know for a lot of folks here at RLC, that's not a big number, but for us, that's more than doubling what we have.
Yeah.
I'm super excited. We just had our franchisee convention last week, and I had existing operators sign up for 30 more units. So, I'm feeling the love from my franchise group. We're feeling the excitement for people who are learning about Hawaiian BBQ and wanting to open. So I think it's a great time for us to continue growing, and that's my plan. Again, but always balancing, we've been a small company, we're from Hawaii, we'll always be headquartered in Hawaii, making sure we still grow at a pace that makes sense for our company, our values, and our franchisees.
All right, so if you get to 500 locations, and I believe you can do it, when you get there, that means you're probably in most American states.
Yes.
And at that point, you've achieved some incredible growth. And at that point, probably the Hawaiian plate lunch has become pervasive in America. What does that mean to you? How cool is it, I guess, to think about like all Americans really understanding what the Hawaiian plate lunch is?
Oh my gosh, that'd be a dream. I feel so, again, my family, our families moved to Hawaii. That was the state they ended up in when they came to America. Mm-hmm. And our state the community supported us. They gave my parents the opportunity to form this company, to be able to help continue the legacy that my family and the Cam family started, to help spread Hawaii and just the diversity, the culture, the openness. What a privilege.
Yeah. That's cool. It's cool to think about. I believe you can get there.
I hadn't thought about, I'm focused on the next and not actually hitting 500, but that's awesome. Yeah,
that's cool.
Thank you.
Elisia Flores of L&L Hawaiian BBQ, thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
Okay, I'm here with Beto Guajardo, the CEO of Blaze Pizza. Beto, thanks for joining me today.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, so we were just talking. You've been with Blaze for about a year and a half.
That's right.
First off, tell me about the opportunity you saw in Blaze when you took this job.
Sure. So, one of the things that I always look for in the brands that I have an opportunity to work with and it's been some of the most iconic brands in America, whether it's Starbucks or Levi Strauss or Avon Cosmetics. When the opportunity came to come to Blaze, I saw a brand that still had a lot of consumer love. I mean, people are really passionate about being able to build their own pizza in under 180 seconds.
Yeah.
And understanding that and seeing where the business was in its growth trajectory, I saw opportunity.
Yeah.
And so I was really excited to get my hands on this brand, to work with this team, to work with our franchisees, and put it on its next trajectory of growth.
All right, so you've had your hands on this brand for a year and a half. What would you say are some of the ways in which you've brought some influence to the company?
Yeah, thank you. A lot of different things already. I mean, first of all, we inspected, respected all of our ingredients. From our sauce, to our cheese, to our pepperoni, to our sausage, to our pineapple, you name it. And looking at all those ingredients, we identified where over the years quality has just slightly deteriorated, and what opportunities might be in the marketplace today that weren't there, say, several years ago, that would actually bring more flavor, more value to the customer, and higher quality, of course, as well.
Right.
And if we can all do it at approximately the same cost, it's a win for everybody.
Right.
So we've been slowly changing out our ingredient profile across our products that we offer, and in a not too short period of time, we'll be basically reintroducing the new flavors of Blaze.
Okay.
And that will include new signature pizzas that you'll see in our menu, new pricing across the entire line, new crusts and dough that we'll be offering, just to make it a higher value, higher quality. Look, at the end of the day, I need everyone to say Blaze Pizza is my favorite pizza in America, and I'm not
Sure.
going to stop until I make that happen.
Is this your plea to all of those who are listening?
Your favorite pizza in America.
You heard it here. Go to your Twitter, go to your LinkedIn.
That's right.
All right, so when fast casual pizza, Blaze Pizza, of course, being one of the innovators in the space, one of the originators, when this category took off, it was really about customization. Pizza is a lunch option. It's gone through some evolution and some changes, and you were just describing you're launching some signature
Right.
pizzas. Tell me about the evolution of the category and how Blaze is really kind of participating.
Absolutely. And there actually have been a number of factors that have evolved the industry, involved this segment within the industry. One is the proliferation of other BYO concepts, Cava included, who you'll be talking to in a little bit.
Yeah.
Of course, you've got all the Mexican fast food, Chipotles and Qdobas and whatnot, but it's also the sandwich shops, as well. And your lettuce, your sweet greens, and your chopped and whatnot. So this idea of you just don't walk into a restaurant and stand in front of somebody who's running a register and order off the menu and stand around and wait for your product to be done, or you just don't go and sit at a table and order off a menu and wait for it to show up at your table.
Right.
You're actually participating in the creation of what you are about to eat, what you're about to enjoy. And that really resonated with customers. It was novel at the time back in 2011 when Blaze first came on board. And of course, other build-your-own pizza brand concepts, would follow. Fast forward, we get to 2020. Now, up until that point, the business for the in-store experience, I think for a lot in this industry, in the fast casual industry, was growing. Pandemic hits, we're learning to eat at home. That experience of walking down the line and saying, hey, I want more of that, or can I try that, or just put that on like a quarter of my pizza, right? So I can, taste it and figure it out, and really making it your own became more of a, use a digital menu.
Right.
And that doesn't have nearly the emotional connection, right, with the customers that you have when you're working down the line inside a store. So we wake up, pandemic trends start to reverse, but people got used to eating at home and eating at home a lot. Furthermore, the BYO concept now being proliferated across a number of brands, and the value that you get with those brands. I think a burrito weighs like 1.1 pounds, right? A Cava bowl, I'm sure, weighs over a pound, maybe a pound and a half, right? And a pizza, which was considered artisanal. And we still want to hold on to that core concept of an artisanal flavor in what we make, but we've got to find more value. And that's going to be the key. So now where are we today? Some of our competitors, not nearly thriving as much as we are. We actually see a tremendous opportunity for growth. Our goal is to double the size of our footprint in the next 5 years. Both internationally and domestically. And we're off to the races.
Yeah, you mentioned that word value, and I'm glad you brought that up, because I think that's an important word right now, and especially when you think of where you guys exist at this intersection of technology and mobile ordering, convenience and accessibility, of course, when it comes to delivery and things like that, but also pizza, a beloved menu item in America that people like to eat at home.
Yes.
But a lot of these things kind of check the value box, because I think the value equation's kind of evolved, right?
Yes.
It's not just a price point.
No.
It's a lot of other things. So just tell me what the value equation for Blaze Pizza is.
All right, well, first, I want to set the record straight.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Okay, but you've got to answer this question.
Okay, I will.
If you go and get yourself a big burrito, and you don't finish all of it, and you got a quarter of that burrito left, what do you do with it? You put it in your pocket and take it home?
No, I put it in the fridge.
Do you?
No,
if you're eating in the store,
yeah.
Most people actually throw it away.
Okay,
most
sure.
people don't wrap up their burrito and say, I'm going to take it home.
Mm-hmm.
But if you've got a bowl, you'll eat part of that bowl, you put the lid back on it,
Sure.
take it home with you, right? What about pizza? Everyone loves pizza for breakfast.
Cold pizza.
Like literally, I've done the research on this. Everyone loves pizza for breakfast, okay? So our 11-inch original crust pizza, I would say, from our consumer research, you probably have 70% of the people who actually can finish that whole pizza in the store and 30% who can't. I want to give you a pizza that you can finish the whole thing in the store, that you're going to make yourself, that's going to be of the flavors of your choosing, your pizza that you love. Hell, I'll put your name on the box, right? We'll brand it, your pizza, right?
Yeah.
And I want you to be able to take that pizza home and enjoy it tomorrow, right? 2 dinners, breakfast, lunch. I want you to take it home and share it with your spouse. Hey, you got to try this pizza I made. It's really good, right? So that's the value equation forthcoming as we look for ways to actually lean into what we know the consumers are looking for, which is great value, high quality. It's my own. I call it mine, made it myself at Blaze Pizza.
Yeah, it's so interesting. Let's talk about the quality piece of that, because I think about some of the big pizza chains, and when it comes to value with those guys, I'm thinking, you go on there and they say, there's a deals link on there, right? You click on it and then you find your coupon that you want to use, and it really is all about price.
That's right.
Which I get. I mean, that's the old-fashioned value definition.
Correct.
Quality, though, bang for your buck, like quality being such a key to demonstrating value, and I'm sure that's an opportunity over the major pizza chains currently for Blaze, and you mentioned you guys are working on that, so how do you improve the quality of the menu and use that as a value driver? So
let me share with you some experiences that I had with that little coffee company up in Seattle, where I ran global strategy for them for over 6 years, okay? We knew that when our guests said, I love this coffee company, about 27% of those guests said, well, I love it because I love the coffee. Another 47% said, I love it because I love the experience that I have when I go to the store, and I love the way they make me feel. And when we said to them, well, what is it that is happening in the store that makes you feel good about being there and being associated with the brand? They know my name. They know my choices. They anticipate my needs. Right? Those things, we've done well in certain pockets of America. We've not done them well everywhere. And we certainly have not adopted the technology where you should be able to walk into a Blaze and be like, hey, I'm Michael. Scan your code. I know your favorite pizza. We'll have it to you out in less than 3 minutes. Right? Yeah. We're missing that. And so that is some of our technology roadmap that we're in the process of creating. Interesting. And then finally, the last 30% of why do you love that coffee company was, I love the company and I love the way they make me feel. We've got a really exciting new positioning of the brand that we're going to be coming out with in the next 45 days or so. I can't tell you what it is yet, but I'm telling you, you're going to want to interview me one more time when you see this.
We'll do the follow-up. That's right. Tell me about challenges, because here we are, we're at this restaurant leadership conference talking all about the myriad challenges that operators face, labor, inflation, food costs, labor costs, et cetera, et cetera. Tell me about some of the headwinds that Blaze Pizza is facing and how you are trying to tackle those. Yeah, thanks, Sam, for the question. I'll tell you, I'm not going to share anything that's not already known or understood. Everyone's facing labor costs. Everyone's facing increasing costs and interest rates for development. Everyone is facing, food, increases, and of course the challenges with being cut out of line from the third-party delivery companies and whatnot, right? You don't own your customer anymore when you lean too heavily into those channels. They're all wonderful, but they have a place. We recognize all the above. We're choosing
to lean into the headwinds, not run away from them.
Okay.
So you'll hear other brands say, California labor increasing, I cannot afford to keep operating in the state. We're leaning into California.
Okay.
Right? We're actually looking to acquire more company-owned stores. We're looking to grow in California. And we believe that by eliminating some of the non-value added labor complexity that's in the store that the customer quite honestly doesn't care about.
Yeah.
What they care about is the quality of the labor that's right in front of you, serving you, right? Making your high quality food.
Yeah.
That's what they care about. So we're leaning into California. As I mentioned, when it comes to food costs, we're never, ever, ever going to skimp on quality.
Yeah.
I mean, that is not the issue. But what we have to do is price appropriately. And we'll never compete against the major food chains as a discounter. Doesn't mean we don't have value. Right? Discounting and value are two different things. Yeah. And so you'll see a lot more of that, especially with our online and digital orders, leaning into value, but not discounting.
That's good. All right, so Beto, last question for you. You've got a lot of energy and optimism, and I love that.
Thanks, sir.
What are you most excited about for the future?
I'm most excited about our franchisees, and let me explain why.
Sure.
It took me several months to get out there and visit all of them. Oh, sure, we had our Zoom calls, and we were, doing whatnot, but you don't really get to know somebody unless you're sitting down and splitting a pizza.
Yeah.
Right? And what I found was I've got an investment group that's really excited and still loves this brand. And they are willing to do what it takes to get this brand back on its rightful growth and trajectory.
Sure.
When you've got people like that behind you, right, and you've got a great team supporting you, it's overachievers and underachievers. And I'm confident I've got a team of overachievers. And I'm excited about the future because I know when you have a team like that pulled together, the quality, the stamina, the love, right? It's just a matter of time.
It's exciting. It's contagious. I feel the excitement from you. That's exciting.
Sam.
Yeah, Beto Guajardo of Blaze Pizza, thank you for your time.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Those were my interviews with Elisia Flores of L&L Hawaiian BBQ and Beto Guajardo of Blaze Pizza. So what should you learn from these interviews? Here are my 5 takeaways. My first takeaway is that global flavor profiles are on the rise. Elisia and I sat down, of course, at RLC, but it was right after a presentation from our friends over at Technomic, who were discussing how Hawaiian barbecue is one of many global flavor categories that are on the rise. L&L, of course, is part of that trend, but you see it across the board with Mediterranean flavors, Asian flavors. Across the board, you really do see more adventures in flavor from consumers. That's been going on for years and years, but I think there's more opportunity now for even niche global flavor profiles, which is where Hawaiian barbecue really can fit in. This is not totally well known for a lot of customers, particularly East Coast, Midwest customers. They might not know the Hawaiian barbecue flavors, but it's a great opportunity now as interest in these kinds of flavors rise. Elisia made this great point in the interview. She said that this is comfort food. Hawaiian barbecue is comfort food, and everybody can relate to comfort food. That's why she really thinks that there is incredible potential for L&L as it grows all across the U.S. My second takeaway is that leaders of franchise businesses live to fulfill others' American dreams. Of course, if you're in the franchise business, you know this to be true, but it was really fun to hear Elisia share this story about, when she came back to the business. She grew up in this business. Of course, her father co-founded L&L. She wasn't sure she wanted to get back into it, but one of the things that really helped to convince her to be the leader of this brand, it was not, all the potential for L&L necessarily. It was not necessarily any one thing with the brand as much as she said it was where she realized she could help others, her franchisees, fulfill that dream of theirs to own their own business. And that really motivated her. That's a great motivator across the board. And if you're a brand that's thinking about franchising, that could be a great motivator for getting into franchising, thinking about the fact that your brand could unlock that potential for other people to own their own business and fulfill that American dream. That's an exciting thing. And really all leaders in the restaurant industry should consider, even if they're not in franchising, that's a great part of what they get to do. My third takeaway is that you need to find a balance between the bells and whistles and the things that customers loved you for in the first place. So L&L, as Elisia describes, been around for many years. It's, serving that plate lunch that is so common in Hawaii. It's fairly simple. It's a straightforward menu. The menu is not very big, So great flavors, but simple in that it's not super fancy, I guess, in its menu and its an experience. But as we talked about in this conversation, of course, with technology, there's so much opportunity to get fancy, to incorporate high-tech tools, mobile ordering, all of these different things that will allow you to have some bells and whistles as part of your business. And I appreciated her response to that question about how they kind of can incorporate that. She said it's really about a balance. You do have to bring in innovations. You do have to look at technology. It has a role in the restaurant. But she said you cannot get carried away with those bells and whistles. You have to find that balance because at the end of the day, customers fell in love with your brand for a reason, and that reason was the food. And if your food is why they come and why they love you, you've got to find that right balance, again, between those bells and whistles, that innovation, that technology, and the food quality and the things that customers really loved about you in the first place. My fourth takeaway is that you should expect fast casual pizza to be a big player in the value wars. Fast casual pizza came up, of course, now well over a decade ago. Hard to believe, but 2011, 2012 was when brands like Blaze Pizza really took off. Had several years of incredible growth. The pandemic hit a little bit of a rough patch. Arguably, most of these, customizable brands, when they lost that experience in the restaurant, things all went to digital ordering. Some were able to pivot. Of course, Chipotle, we see what they're doing. And others weren't able to pivot as much. And we've seen struggles, particularly in fast casual pizza. But Beto Guajardo, the CEO of Blaze, has some great ideas for refreshing this brand. And I appreciated his thoughts here on value in particular. Because to his point, pizza is an incredible value opportunity that you usually don't finish a pizza. When you get a pizza, you eat a couple slices, you take it home, and you've got breakfast potentially the next day, lunch, dinner. You have an extra meal, which is great bang for your buck. But I think, especially after talking to Beto, I'm really convinced that fast casual pizza in particular is going to hit the value messaging hard. Value is coming back in a big way right now. We all know that traffic is struggling. Restaurants are really struggling to get customers in the doors, and we're seeing value all over the place. But fast casual pizza has a unique value proposition. Of course, there's the whole build your own component. If you go into order, there's the experience of ordering that Beto really hyped up as being such a strong part of the Blaze experience. But then, of course, there's that lots of food for a low price point, the traditional value of definition of value. And so all of these things really lead me to believe that, we'll start to see that messaging a lot more from the fast casual pizza players because they do have that good value proposition. Quality food, the ability to design it yourself, build your own. But then, of course, you have a lot of food and potentially leftovers from more than one meal. My fifth and final takeaway is that there is opportunity in leaning into your headwinds. So Beto had a really interesting perspective on the California wage situation. So, of course, California passed a bill that has raised wages for fast food chains to $20 an hour. And a lot of folks think there will be a ton of fallback from that. There will be a trickle-down effect. Wages will go up across the board. We're already seeing some businesses struggle in California for that because of that bill. But Beto said they want to lean into California. They want to open more stores in California. And I thought that was an interesting opinion, and especially with what he said as to why. He said that Blaze really thinks that customers care about the quality of their labor. Again, the fast casual pizza category is all about that build your own experience, walking down the line, engaging with the employees, having that experience. You don't get that at the major pizza chains. And so because of that, they do need highly skilled employees who can facilitate that experience. As such, they will pay their employees more. So where others are zigging in California, Blaze Pizza is going to zag. They want to go big on California restaurants, invest in those employees so that they can have that great experience that customers will want and crave and come back for more. Those are all my takeaways for today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please remember to subscribe to Takeaway wherever you listen to podcasts and leave your feedback. As always, you can also email me at sam.oches@informa.com. Thanks again, and talk to you next week.